All right, 2025. Ricardo, you are the first guest of the year, my man. I'm sure.
Oh,
No
yes.
pressure, no pressure, no pressure.
Hey, I'm ready.
You ready?
It's
How you
fun.
been? Yeah. How
Thank
you
you for the
been?
opportunity, first and most important.
Of
I've been
course.
well. Yeah, I've been trying to, how do I put it, live life well. Because when we're in the business, in the thick of things, where it gets so busy with everything, really, and we are so committed to our jobs that we forget about really having a life. Our life is turning to, running our business. So what I'm trying to
Yes.
do now is, okay, let's work on ourselves. Let's go to let's go to the gym. Let's
Yeah,
meditate. Let's eat well. Let's go for a walk. Enjoy the family. Things like that that are going to be meaningful. That are
definitely.
meaningful and that will become more memorable at the, I guess, end of our lives. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm trying to find that. How do I enjoy life more when I'm not as busy as I usually?
Dang, Ricardo
That's
already
great.
hitting it with the punches, going deep into it right now.
Balance is
Well,
important.
I'm of a certain age, so I know that at this moment in my life, I have learned that yeah, work is important, but how do we, get more of the what fills us and fulfills us
Yeah.
in the long run?
Yeah, big
And
time.
it feeds our clients as well when we are refreshed
Hmm.
and have that healthy balance, we can put more energy into them
That
too.
is true. Yeah, that is true. That is one thing I've always been aware of, that you have to be able to project the joy
Yeah.
and what your job or your craft brings to your life and how you're going to help them along the way with that joy that you start with. So yeah,
Yeah.
that is true.
Holy crap. So I'm getting inspired and already getting this crazy amount of knowledge thrown my way. But before we get deep into this,
All right.
can you let our listeners know who you are, what it is you do in the wedding industry, and what your favorite drink is?
Ooh. Well, I am Ricardo Naranjo. I am from a small town in Mexico. This is near Mexicali, Baja California. I moved here many, many, many years ago. Uh, I am a floral designer. Well, I work as a floral designer. I am a human being that has many likes and dislikes. And my favorite drink would be whiskey,
Oh, yeah.
like on
This
the
guy.
rocks, straight. Yeah,
Yeah, straight. Wow.
Fancy
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Dang, I love it.
That's what I enjoy. I don't need much of the alcohol, so that with a small one or two, I'm good. Good.
Yeah, and we've partied with you when you've had a
Oh
couple of
yes, that's
whiskeys.
right. Yeah,
So we know you
yeah.
like to get down.
Alcohol turns me into somebody. Sometimes I surprise myself with. I say, who are you?
That's
But yeah,
so
it's
cool.
fun. It's fun. Yeah.
So I love it. So yeah, so everyone in this industry, we love you. We know what you do. You're amazing at it. But
Thank
Mhm.
you.
who is Ricardo? So we want to dive into a little bit of your background. So can you let so when we were all little babies, we
Yes.
all wanted to be something. What was it that baby Ricardo wanted to be? And did you think you would be where you are now?
Well, definitely not. I believe I have the well, that I was born with the ability to create. I believe that as a little kid, I found things interesting, found things like color, shape, placement, length, texture.
Mhm.
All of that, was interesting to me. So as I grew up, I wanted to be a graphic designer.
Oh
So
wow.
when I was in Mexico, I didn't see that really there was a future in that. So I was hoping, how do I uh, look into this and maybe become a graphic designer and make a living off of that. However, I didn't feel like the opportunity was there. So I ended up attending school in Mexico and finished a degree in productivity, which is more like, how do you manage a business? And once I did that, when I graduated, probably a day or two or three later, I decided I was going to move here to United States. I really never worked in Mexico a day in my life. However, I did work for my father, who had a grocery store.
Oh wow.
I worked with him for several years, helped him out, went to school, finished my degree in management. Then I moved here a few days later, and I never really went back
Wow.
to live, to pursue anything in my land. because I believe that perhaps here I would find a better opportunity and I can seek, the degree that I wanted to pursue, which was graphic design. And I did find that I could do that. However, I had to learn English. So prior to, before I can do anything, I had to learn English. So it did take me a while to immerse into the language, but I had so much passion for learning that I couldn't think of anything else but to learn to speak. Wow. And for that, I attended Hancock College used to offer English, or they still do perhaps English as a second language. Mm-hmm. So I attended those classes. I finished those, and I started, regular classes, which was scary in a way, because really I couldn't really speak it. I could understand it much more than I could say it. But I knew that I had to do that. There was no other way I could continue. And I did to myself, if you do not learn how to speak English, you better go back to your land. Because in order to, to be productive and be a good resource here in America, then you have to be able to communicate. Mm-hmm. And so I did that. But I guess I was blessed with the gift of being able to learn fast. So I was able to learn, I was able to comprehend, because not only as a child, my mother would bring us here every summer since we were little. So I think that helped me to be able to speak and learn the language faster than probably maybe many would have.
How long did it take?
And also was never shy. I was never shy about trying to speak it. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Many would say, I would say a word that is not pronounced correctly, but I always would say, well, tell me, you can laugh all you want, but you got to tell me how to pronounce it better. So then I would have them pronounce it, and then I would repeat it. And to this day, I still do that. Because I think that's a better way to learn and to expand your vocabulary. Now, and so never shy about speaking it, never shy about knowing that I could do it. Yeah. And be willing to, put the time. And so I focused on that very much. And then after I learned English, then I continued with my education in graphic design, and I completed that degree also. And I worked as a graphic designer for about 10 years, I think.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So you have a background?
I've always been very focused. Like if I set my mind on that and said, I can do this, So yeah. It really is, I guess, a blessing that I believe that I can do it. And if I can, I'm going to do my best to do that.
All really great backgrounds and skills. Inspiring. And all of that I can see being carried into the wedding industry. I'm so curious how you brought that. I mean, with a business degree, now graphics, and being able to, communicate our language. Now, how did you get from that as a graphic designer to a florist?
Well, this is the funny thing. So I didn't get married again. So I've been married twice. So my second wife said, let's start a business. And I go, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but I think I can do this. So because of her, we started this business back in, many years ago. Mm-hmm. But it was her who said, let's do something with this, I guess, gift that I had. Uh-huh. And we both, were hardworking people, and we knew that with time we can obviously learn. And because I have the ability to create and see beyond flowers, because I also consider myself an artist. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So to say that it was going to be a difficult process, I didn't even think about that. I knew that I could do it. So while I was still working full-time as a graphic designer, I was allowed to kind of pursue that on the side. And so let's say, well, through faith also, because there's a lot of faith that goes into, starting a business. And we came up with a name. We never really had a business plan, just working by faith. We set up a table in our garage, and we run some advertisement. We hope that somebody would come, and somebody did come. So we did end up with our first wedding, and that wedding, I remember that, that's all we wanted. We wanted to get immersed into this business, and we needed somebody to trust us. And I remember that we charged like $600 back in, many years ago. But we were hired to do a wedding, so that was exciting. And really, that's what we needed to to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
After doing that, then more business came, and eventually I had to quit my day job and business full time. But it's not an easy process, though. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of hours that you put into this, a lot of time, effort, a lot of what is it called, sweat and tears.
Yeah.
Yes, and it is not for the faint of heart. I think running a business and starting a business from zero, it takes a lot of time and dedication. And to know that it's going to work, you don't know, but you hope that you put in all that effort, all yourself is in that. As a florist, there's a lot of that. You give yourself to your craft and to your clients that are going to be able to see that through the process of booking you and the process of delivering their vision. So a lot of that comes into place, that you really have to feel that love for what you do, so you get able to connect with the client, and the client, as a result, is going to like what you do, because you put in your best effort forward, and they will then refer you to others. So by referral, so then we started to grow to this point that we are, we're in a good place now.
This is so cool. I just love hearing how like the vendors first started out. Everyone has their own little story, but it's so cool to hear how you just started out in like a table in your garage, and then you charge, this amount, and someone just showed up. And I remember, when you get that first client, it just feels so good to have someone believe in you, and then you just get up. Yeah, and then from that one person, they pretty much got your business going, and your passion grew even better, more and more. That's so cool to hear.
But it's also the passion that you show, the connection that you have, the purpose that you are able to project.
Yeah.
That, you're going to connect with the client, and you're going to deliver the vision. Because you're in the business to serve them, and serve them right, and make them aware that you are just an instrument to deliver the vision they have in mind. That's really what I believe.
What a unique perspective too you have, like as a graphic designer background. How would you say that's impacted the way you approach floral design?
I believe that through design, there's a lot of comes into it. Meaning like shape, form, proportion, texture. So I've learned those skills that then they're transferred onto floral design. Because when I design a floral piece, I'm able to see beyond what the flower is. So I can see, I call it a dot of color in placement. So if you're able to then reflect that, their style and color palette within flowers and in the greenery they used, then you're able to then be able to create good design. But I think you have to see beyond what you're creating. You have to see proportion. You have to see placement. Have to see color, how one color relates to another, how one larger floral is transferred visually to that. You guide their eyes to that spot, and then it will transfer to the other side of the piece. And by creating a line with some textures, then you kind of have them looking around the entire floral piece. And I'm talking about just flowers, but all the different layers that come onto a tablescape then also become an important factor, that together they create a visual effect for the client. But the floral component is my job. So then I go with that in mind, and know that I have to be able to reflect, my client's vision, and be able to then create design that it's appealing to them. And it doesn't look like you went to the grocery store and purchased, one.
It's totally one of a kind.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. I love hearing just like how each vendor, just hearing how they see their craft.
Yeah.
Like the way you describe how you see, like a bride and stuff, they see a bouquet, they see a flower, but you see, art, you see the design you've created, you've seen, it's just crazy to hear the way you guys view it.
It is interesting, yes. And it is very rewarding too. It is a lot of work when you're going through the whole process of creating something beautiful for them.
Yeah.
But it is very rewarding too. So I've enjoyed all these years in this business, really not to say that there haven't been difficult times in the sense that sometimes there's too much work, and because all of this has to be produced from Wednesday on. I don't like to design a whole lot on site. Mm-hmm. So all of our work has to be produced from Wednesday through Friday. Oh. And some, obviously touch up on Saturday when we go sit up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's quite challenging. But to be able to not only, I guess, be an artist prior to, and to also be able to then deliver the vision and place all of their components in a way that it's how we specifically talk about. It's really very rewarding. Plus, on wedding day, everybody loves you. Everybody's showing you love. Yeah, and you feel like it's party time. For me, it's I go on Saturdays to set up. And I know I did all I could. I've done the best I could after meetings with my clients. I know that I have been able to. I know prior because I have the experience that I know that I've done a good job.
Yep.
For the most part, obviously. But on wedding day, you deliver everything, you set up everything, you work well with all the other vendors that are in place. And it's just so much love there. So it's like, give it to me. I love
it. Industry for love.
Love it.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of as a florist, I don't know if with other vendors, but as a florist, they do clients do show you a lot of love and a lot of attention, especially obviously when they like what they see. If they don't, forget about it.
Like, what?
But I've learned over the years, though, overall, good design, and that I have to be able to create a perfect bridal bouquet, because that is what they'll see first.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So once you have that experience with a client and they like what they saw, and so everything's much easier. Everything falls into place in a very cohesive, pleasant way.
But, dang, that's so true. I didn't even think about that. So I like how you mentioned that's what they see first is your florals. So when I show up at a wedding, the couple knows what my photography looks like, but the guest don't. So I have to present myself like a professional because they don't see my product. They don't see my product. I am my product.
Right.
But your product's there for everyone to see, and they're already amazed and like, oh my God, look at this.
That is very true. Yeah,
that's already there.
Maybe that's where we get most of the love then. Then you get some of the love later. But the florist will, yes. But it's also, I don't know. I don't really get nervous when I present the bouquet, but there's always that, there's high expectations.
Yeah.
So there's always that nervousness, a little bit of that stays with me.
I think that's healthy though. Like even with all the weddings that you've done, to still have that anxiety and
still have it.
The client. That's
to this day, it doesn't go away. I can control it better. You'll see me on wedding day like smiley and ease, but really sometimes I'm like, I have to get it right. I have to hurry because you have to also be fast on wedding day. Mm-hmm. You have to be pleasant. You have to smile. You have to throw that energy that you have not only built on, because you're expected to not only deliver the job, but also deliver it in a pleasant, cohesive way, and to show that joy that that your job brings you to the client.
Yeah. Man, I love this knowledge
that you've mastered.
Yeah. All right, Ricardo. So we know that you've worked on many incredible weddings and that you're a powerhouse and you know how to run your business. But can you share, a time when florals truly transformed a space and Ricardo, when did an event push you as an artist to that next level?
Oh, one thing, when you work in many beautiful venues like the ones here on the Central Coast, flowers just kind of enhance the environment. Flowers, along with every other item that comes into the decor, to make it I call it wedding-like.
Yeah.
It is not that hard to make a place look even more beautiful, but it is obviously when there's more of the beautiful things, like when you bring in those beautiful linens, flatware, china, all of the different components, lighting, candle light, and then you place the flowers, then it becomes a complete product, a presentation that is sometimes very unforgettable. But I think a, a venue is transformed when there's more of, unfortunately.
Yeah.
When you have your low centerpieces, your tall centerpieces, when you carry your eye throughout the space and you're able to then have not only, again, the beautiful items that come
Yeah.
at a wedding, but also flowers in different areas,
Mhm.
like your bar or your cocktail tables, your cake table, your chandeliers that are, draped with beautiful greenery,
Yeah.
your draping, high floral centerpieces, low centerpieces, not only the one focal point centerpiece, but also is complemented by two more. So they have the two additional pieces plus candles. So all of that together starts becoming a very beautiful presentation. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I guess more is better sometimes.
Always.
Whenever we can,
Yes,
yeah.
when it comes to floral, anyways, yeah. And
Yeah.
that's, obviously it's a high ticket item. So sometimes we gotta do our best to stay within budgets and we
Yeah.
look for ways to still make it memorable, beautiful, but without having to have so tons of flowers everywhere. So that's
Hmm.
one of my jobs too, that I enjoy working with my client's budget and I'll do my best to stay within that.
Yeah, I
But
love
obviously
that.
flowers, cost of goods and all that adds up. And I have to be realistic to them. So I need to, many times I have to, ahead of time, I have to know the
Hmm.
budget for
Yeah.
otherwise I give them sticker shock. And that's, yeah, that is very unpleasant for the client. And it
Mm.
is sad for me because I want to deliver their vision, but it's going to come at a price and
Yeah.
not many can afford, you know, thousands of dollars. So if I
Yeah.
know that the budget that's available for floral, then I can do better.
True.
I love that you're, mindful of that from the start. So you're able to like educate them
Right.
and then they could, once they see it, they're like, oh, but I want that. And they could decide
Right.
if they want
Yes.
to splurge
Yeah.
more. So can you give us a little insight as far as like your process working with a client? Like, how do you usually guide them from the start, like to realize their vision and what they can get, like you said, for that budget?
Right. Well, we start with now we have an online, form that they can fill out. And then after we get all the details, then I have it on Zoom or on the phone consultation. So that is for them to not only for me to ask many questions, for them to tell me their floral vision, but also so we can get a more of a personal connection.
Mhm.
Because I also believe if you don't have a connection with your client, then they're just seeing numbers. Suddenly you become a number, meaning you're not really there. Flowers are very personal. So
Mm.
if I cannot connect with my client on that Zoom or a phone, then I always tell them I'm not your florist.
Yeah.
You have to feel something. If you're talking to me and if you see that I'm not only knowledgeable for what I do, but I'm also there for them, that I have their backs, that I'm going to do
Mm.
whatever I can to deliver their vision and work like one on one together. I say together as a team, we deliver your vision. Because I tell my clients, you are the one who leads me. So you are the one who guides me. I'm here to, take all of your ideas and put them into place and present to you with what you have in mind. But it has to be a team effort, and you have to feel comfortable with me. You have to
Mhm.
know that some about me, how do I work, what I'm here for, and so once we establish a connection, then perhaps you can consider me as your florist. But if you didn't feel a thing, then you need to continue research, and you can really compare. Price wise is not an apples to apples situation
Yeah.
because we're all different. We all have our own styles. We also the number of blooms that we use in their floral presentations are different. So it's more about what you feel because I do also believe that we give them great value. I also believe that our prices are quite competitive.
Mhm.
Um, and I also believe that I give them more than I should personally if I think about my profit margin. But at the end of the day, I always say, I know how much money profit I'm going to make. Yeah, I might lose a few dollars here and there,
Mhm.
But the bottom line is I want them to see the value. I want them to see how much I care about their wedding and that I deliver the vision exactly as they had in mind and more, actually. Because it's not really about money, I think. I think it's more about servicing them right, delivering their vision, and give them a little extra. You can be, well, in my case, I don't count stems. Yes, we do create formulas and we have to stick with those formulas, but I don't do that. So many times I'm like, I'm just going to put a few more. And I always end up buying more product. And it's worked for me over all these many, many years, over 20 years now. I've never been without, work. Always had plenty. My clients seen the value and they know that they got more than they would have with some maybe others. But so I want them to see that there is care in everything we do, that we love our clients, that we want their experience to be one of a kind, and we're not going to skimp them on flowers. They're not going to look like full of greenery like now with this organic styles. A lot of times, we think that, okay, we're going to put all this greenery and then not enough of the flowers, and maybe that's okay. Well, in my case, I don't think that. I think there has to be a good balance between your textures and your flowers. It has to be well designed, obviously, with purpose and intention, not just all thrown together like sometimes I see on the Instagram or the Pinterest.
That's crazy.
But that's not how we do it. Again, we have to design with purpose and intention, and it has to look beautiful.
Exactly. Ricardo, I love that you mentioned earlier that how when you speak to a client, you like to let them know you're more than just the florist. You're the professional behind it. You're the artist. You're the artiste, and then
Yes.
you try to make the vision with them as a team. And
Yes.
I think that's what stands out, and you're giving more of a value and more of an experience for them, not just a product. I think that's awesome that you do that.
As you were talking, like you could feel the dedication that you're going to have for them,
Feel the passion.
I have a passion, yes. I still do. I don't say a lot that I'm an artist. Sometimes I feel a little silly saying that. But I do believe that, but I don't say it much, but I believe that that I have a vision, like I have different take on floral design.
Yes.
Like flowers are my medium because I don't see them. Obviously they're flowers, but in my mind, they're dots of color.
Yeah.
I'm going to do beautiful things with them, and that the greenery that comes with that in the container that we place them in. But yeah, I think I see beyond the flower. And I see in the spaces that is going to be, brought into also, because that's all very important too. Scale, color, all of that.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
So I know that you're able to basically take any vision almost, probably. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And make the most of it and make it beautiful and execute it. Are there any floral trends or color palettes for 2025 that you're excited about?
I have seen, the new trends that are coming into place. And there's all those moody, colors, rusty colors. However, price-wise, that color palette is quite pricey, and it's difficult to find. By the way,
interesting.
Especially the ones that you see that are overly organic with a lot of grasses. I've not seen at the market bunches of grasses that I can use, so I can recreate another look that we're seeing. I also see a lot of those rusty colors, like in the ranunculus or tulips or roses that are beautiful. You can't find them. They are. I mean, you can find them at a very high price, and they're just stressful, to tell the truth. Because again, you hope that you're gonna get what you see, what brides are seeing on their Pinterest boards, but it's nature, and it's the cost of let's say the cost of one ranunculus in that color palette will retail at least $10+. That's a lot of money for one flower, you know what I mean? And when you have to use in one floral centerpiece at least 5, that's $50 right there. So if you use that color palette and with all that, the beautiful blooms, top tier, I call them, that centerpiece could cost you up to $300 plus.
Wow.
And in this area, a lot of my clients, or most of the clients, they're not comfortable spending over $300 on a centerpiece.
Yeah.
They are comfortable, however, spending about $180. But $300 on a centerpiece, and you have 20 tables, and you have a budget of 10,000. That's just not gonna pay. Because all of that together with the ceremony, personal flowers, everything else adds up. So you end up with a budget of about 20,000 plus.
Yeah.
And you might say, well, for that, yeah, because you want this color palette. So again, I try to train my clients and tell them, this is costly. We do the best we can. Obviously, most of my clients usually understand, and they're not very focused on that specific look. They want some of that, or somehow make it beautiful, affordable, and they're okay with that. But it's up to them. If they have the money, more power to them. But if they don't, then we're gonna do our best to recreate that look and feel without having to incur such a great expense.
This is
So
crazy. So
the
Ricardo,
things
can
are
you,
beautiful, but they're very costly. Yeah.
yeah. Can you like bring it back? Let's bring it back a little bit and kind of like describe this to me. So when you say so a bride tells you their color palette and you already know like, okay, this is going to be expensive. Are you letting her know? And then say she already booked the planner and they already kind of like have that design going,
Uh-huh.
and then they bring you in. Do you tell them and the planner like, hey, this is, going to be a little outside that budget. Do you still want me to try to stick with this, or are you trying to like work with the
Well,
planner
I
too?
will. Yes, I will see that amount. And I do tell them within our consultation, this is not enough. I do say that because again, I don't think brides want to be disappointed.
Yeah,
I think they want somebody that is honest and will talk about pricing. They appreciate that a lot. Most
for
of them
sure.
do, because nobody has an endless budget. Really,
Mhm.
everybody has a budget.
Mhm.
That I've learned that. So if they say, "Oh, there's no sky's the limit." Anyways, I never had a wedding of millions of dollars, but I'm talking about weddings that are in the $300 price range, $300,000.
Yeah,
They have a budget, for florists, and sometimes they allow less monies than they should because again, the overall cost is over $300,000 wedding.
Mhm.
Mm. And I do believe that and this happened to me a few times where the client wants what the client wants, but the wedding planner was not able to express to the client that the budget that she's allowing for floral it won't be enough for what she needs.
Mhm.
And I had that a few times, and I think it's what is the word? Like they're not serving the client right when they allow the client to believe, for
For
them
sure. Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
believe that they can have all of
Un
that for that amount of money.
yeah,
Unrealistic
So
expectations.
unrealistic, yes. So really, I would hope that maybe the wedding planner talks to me prior to establishing a budget,
yeah,
and then figure out, okay, how much money is really needed for this vision. Because
Mhm.
we do weddings of all budget. We don't shy away from, even we still do a la carte, if you want just a
Mhm.
few flowers in. But yeah, I think there has to be a collaboration that is a bit closer with you, the florist and the wedding planner prior to establishing that floral budget that the client is satisfied with.
Mhm.
And I always have to ask this question: what is your absolute, budget? How far you wanna go? How
for
much
sure.
you want to
Yeah,
spend? And usually what they write on my form is not so. It could be yes, it is that, or well, I can go, maximum 10,000 or so.
Mhm.
And I said I'll do my best because again, everything is so expensive. And waiting sometimes they have over 15 tables. A lot of the money goes there, and then they want those beautiful altars for ceremony. Also, they come with a high ticket price,
Yeah,
and so yeah, I have to tell the client at that moment that this is not enough
So I love
because
that.
I don't want them to waste their time with thinking. But there's always options. There's always others that might be willing to do it for less. I don't know. I don't worry about that either. I don't worry about who my competition is. I
Yeah.
just go with what I can offer, and if it sticks, it sticks.
I
Dang, that
love
right there, Ricardo, that right there is a huge takeaway for our listeners. Don't worry about your competitors. Just keep doing you because
Yes,
your clients will find you and book you. That's a
yes,
huge
they'll see the
takeaway.
value. Yeah, yeah. I don't spend 1 minute thinking about that. These are my prices. I work with your budget the best I can. If you can see the value in what we bring to the table, and if you go and read our reviews, if you talk to wedding planners that we work with, I mean, really, if I were
it.
me, I hire me on the spot.
Just
Where
pop
do
your
I
collar,
sign?
Ricardo. Just pop your collar already.
I said, where do I sign? Well, you have to believe that you are a good for
Yeah.
what they're looking for. That you really, and that's what I believe, anyways. Whether I'm not, whether I am or not, it doesn't matter to me. I believe that I can deliver the vision, and
Love it.
Yeah,
I know that I can. They'll see value and they'll see the artistry that comes with our work.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes, they will. My goodness. I would book you, Ricardo.
That's what I believe.
That's good.
Yes.
All right. So let's get into a little bit more about challenges and like problem solving as a business owner. So I know you're a businessman, you know how to work your business. So what challenges did you face in 2024 and what lessons have you learned that you plan to bring into 2025?
The challenge is always to find the right people to help you, deliver the
Mm,
client vision. Especially as a florist, there's not a ton of florists out there that are willing to work the hours that we have available.
mm,
Mhm.
So that then falls on me that I have to obviously finish the job. Ideally, I would love to have at least when it's busy, like two florists
yeah.
or 2.5 florists. But it's hard to find them because if they're freelancers, they business somewhere else. I do have a full-time florist, but even with the two of us, it's challenging.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of the biggest challenges I've had. Uh, Also on setup date, if I booked more than two weddings, then it was also a challenge because then I have to find somebody to then
Mm,
set up and it has to have enough experience to be able to do the job. And usually, again, we book weddings of different sizes, so I know
yeah.
if I'm not there, then who do I send to set up for that wedding?
Mhm.
And so that's another challenge, finding the right people for the job. Uh, what I've learned, probably what I learned, and is to stay ahead. To go back to work on your floral orders, to
Mm,
make sure you have all the containers available, uh, just to work ahead of ahead of time, not wait till 2 weeks prior to that wedding to start
yeah.
working on that wedding.
Yeah.
But it happens sometimes because we get so busy.
Yep.
Uh, so that's a challenge, finding the time to do all that we need to do when it's production time, when we are busy with not only with consultations, but production, setup, uh, placing the order for flowers. That also takes a lot of time.
Oh.
And there's progress for that, but I still do it by hand. I don't trust those programs. But yeah, yeah.
And as far
So
as
it's time.
like, sorry, as far as like wedding day, setup day goes,
Mhm.
in the past you've brought like a whole squad. Is that normal? Like, do you always have a team with you on wedding day?
Oh yes, at least yeah, 5 people. If it is a
Yeah.
large wedding, and I know it's going to take a long time, yes, because it's easier for me to enjoy the day, so I don't have to be so stressed out
Yes.
going from one place to another.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so having enough people on wedding day, if it's a large wedding like the ones at the La Lomita,
Hmm.
I need at least 5 people. Yeah,
Right.
and that makes my job a lot easier, and I have a lot more fun when I have
For
a
sure.
I
small
can
amount of people.
imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For sure.
yeah.
That is crazy. Let's see here.
As far as like you said, challenging setups go, what has been the most challenging floral design that you worked on and like how did you make it work?
Well, one time we had to build some type of canopy inside a small, venue,
Mhm.
and we had to attach twinkle lights to it. So not only we had to think of the logistic, the size, the length of each piece of wood, how was it going to fall apart, and how we're going to accomplish it in a timely manner. So that took a lot of time and stress because again, we're not a big company that has, a production stuff that comes
Yeah.
in with installations. We are one team. I have good people that work for me, but then there comes a time again. So we have to be able to visualize it. We have to be able to be ready so that we can build it inside in a timely manner, install all those twinkle lights, and then do everything else, work on 20 to 25 guest tables, linens, napkins,
Yeah.
floral, hallway. This is one of the largest events I produce every December. The hallway has to look like another venue. There's a lot of work that comes to as your guests enter into this space. We have to then have a beautiful presentation there too. So having to do that, plus that canopy, plus all the florals, plus, outside for appetizer hours, the bar, it was a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
It's a lot,
crazy.
but we did it, and it came out beautiful. And also when we have to do greenery on chandeliers, at La Lomita, let's say,
Mhm.
again, because we're a small company, then it takes me away from floral production because I have to go there and supervise that. Then I have to come back to the studio and then continue producing florals. So that's not a challenging or a difficult job to do. But when it comes to time, it shortens the time that I can be a florist producing florals, centerpieces, or altar pieces, things like that.
Yeah.
It's just all about time, and we don't take on huge jobs that we're not able to do anymore.
Yeah.
So we're only going to work on what we can do, and we're not going to stress out. I'm not going to stress out about something that I'm not able to do because I have to build large structures. I don't do that anymore. I mean, for that, they hire, what is it? There's different companies. Bella Vista in Santa Barbara.
Oh yeah,
One of
yeah.
the,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because do you
one of the
offer
company. Well,
draping too, or did you stop doing that?
I do simple draping again.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, give me a simple job of draping, I'll do it. But if I have to hang, no, I don't do that. I do a simple
It's a
backdrop.
lot.
I do fabric on arches,
Mhm.
entryways perhaps, but nothing that's gonna be large. Really, I can't. I don't have the time. Plus, I don't find joy doing that.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of stress.
That's a good
Give
point.
it to
Yeah.
flowers, Kim, draping by Kim.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're the best, really.
Mhm.
So anybody looking for draping, Kim is the one.
Get back. So
Uh,
Ricardo, I like that you mentioned in your last answer that you don't take on what you can't. That's just beyond your limit. And I like that. I
right,
think I think company is so easy for us to always say yes, 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 yes to
right.
every client, and then say you do a project that's just beyond that you could actually do, and the client gets disappointed. You don't want to be in that position. So I like that you mentioned just know your limit.
No, yeah, it's important. And after many years, yeah, you have to say no,
Hmm.
really. Because again, it's just going to bring a ton of stress. It's not going to bring you any joy because you're so stressed out.
Yeah.
And how can I produce beautiful floral design if I'm all stressed out?
Yep.
I can't. I have to be able to smile and enjoy it every step of the way.
Yeah.
And so
Important.
I don't take on jobs like that anymore.
Good man. So Ricardo, so your company, Elegant Details, you guys have grown an amazing reputation here on the Central Coast and wherever else, LA, I don't know where else you go, but everywhere. So you're
Everywhere to
loved.
go.
You are
Thank you.
loved.
Thank
So
you.
I want to know what's been one of the most impactful lessons you've learned as you've grown your business?
Impactful lessons. Well, one of the lessons I've learned, I believe, has to be uh, is being kind and generous and willing to help. Whatever it is.
Mhm.
Everybody has their own struggles. I think on wedding on it, setup is, let's say. But we have to be, I would say that we're part of a team. So we're all, there for the benefit of our clients, all of us. And so we have to be willing to step in and help and do it with a smile, without attitudes, without any, nothing. You just got to do it because you want to help and because
Yeah.
you need to help. And so I always offer that, to my client, the vendors that I work with, that we're there to help. And then whatever they need, if we can help them, we're available, and my team is available to them. So I think we have to work on building, friendships, connections, and being able to be true to ourselves, and that we're not just, self-absorbed with our own, jobs there on wedding day. We're there to, how do we make it easier for everybody? And if somebody needs us, then how do we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all working towards the same goal to
Yeah, yeah,
make the wedding
and
everything it
yeah,
can be.
because we're in the business of love, I guess, and connection and friendship, all those good feelings.
Yeah. And we're
And you can
lucky.
tell if somebody's not enjoying their day, any of the vendors that are there,
Yeah.
it's just awful. The energy they project, I don't want them near me,
Yeah.
no,
You're
because
like you're
we're all trying to do our best, right?
yeah.
And if somebody does not want to play the game, then they shouldn't be in the industry to begin with. And they'll go around projecting, this hostile energy that nobody needs. So I say, go home. Yeah,
Get out of
yeah,
here.
yeah, get out of here. I don't need this.
Yeah,
I need to
that's a good
smile.
point. We
Yeah.
all
We have
gotta
to,
enjoy doing our job at the same time too, and help
yeah.
each other
And I,
with it.
I do believe that. Yeah, one time we had finished the job, all the vendors that were there, I know them for a long time. And it was a beautiful wedding that we produced. And I sat there, there was a lounge nearby, and I sat there and they were all, communicating with each other, having fun, and smiling and laughing. And starting to tear up uh, because I felt so honored to be part of that,
Wow.
in this industry, actually. And after all these years, I just felt like, this is a beautiful thing. I'm
Wow.
able to see sit here and see that everybody is working together and that everything came out looking beautiful, and we're just having a good time being friends with each other.
Man.
That
You
was a
are
Right.
that was a good moment for me. Plus I was so stressed out, and I had just finished, and I was so tired.
wow. Well deserved. You have many
Yes,
blessings, and
yes,
it's always good
yes,
to count your blessings.
yes.
What is one thing that you wish you'd known when you first started? And what advice would you give to florists just getting into the wedding business?
Ooh, one thing I learned. Well, I didn't know it was so intense. It was so
Uh-huh.
demanding to run a business, to work so hard, to not take any breaks sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Yeah, to
Yeah.
be. I guess I kind of knew my father was a business owner, and he would work from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. every day. So I knew there was going to be a lot of that. However, you don't really know it until you're in it.
Yeah.
And in order for the business to work, you really have to spend the time. So you have to be willing to not only put in the hours, but also be willing to learn never stop learning, really. And so that's one of the things that I guess I would have hoped to know for reals, like how
Yeah.
does it feel to work all the time? And what was the second part of the question? I forgot.
Yeah. What advice would you give to
Oh,
new
the advice.
florists? Yeah.
I think the advice that you have to be willing to you have to be willing to talk to your client in the way they want to hear the information. If they are within a budget, you have to be able to accept that they have a budget and be willing to work with that the best you can, obviously. If they ask you for a discount, you have to be willing to smile and have a ready to deliver answer.
Yeah.
Uh, and you also have to be willing to enjoy and project, that you love your job and you're there to help them. So I think because we're in the service industry, that nobody should ever forget that we're there to service our clients. And I think many of the young vendors, because we all have our big egos, forget some of that. Yeah. And I've learned, it took me a while to get rid of my ego when I started the business. So I know that, ego plays a big part in what I do as florists. We're not reinventing the wheel, really. We are good at our craft, and what we have is our own unique take on design and our own interpretation. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing new here. So, we have to be willing to accept that we are there to deliver the client's vision and follow it to a T, really. So, yeah. Like, don't pretend it's your wedding and you're going to do it your way.
Yeah.
It's the client's way, and they like what they like. Mm-hmm. And if we don't like it, too bad. You're gonna love it.
I love it. Good advice. All right, Ricardo, what's one of your top 2025 goals this year? If you could
the goals. As I started this conversation, my goal is to find joy in every day in all I do, and to find better ways to stay connected with my family, to be proactive about my mindset, my health. That's because I've done this job long, and I know that I can do this job. I know how to do it well. And I know that I never forget, again, that I'm here to service my client, and I'm there to do the best I can. So my goal then transferred to, how do I get to have a life when we get so busy?
Yeah.
How do I perhaps take on less work now that perhaps I don't need to? Because really, I don't need to work this hard. I always say that, but I end up working this hard. So maybe work less so that I can then, have more time with my loved ones. So more about personal goals, I guess, because business-wise, my goals are very much the same. Doing a good job delivering my client's vision, work within their budgets, have value in my services, and beauty in my services, and so those have remained forever. But I want to do better with myself. How about take better care of my mindset, because that's a challenge.
That's so true. And I feel like, like your business can truly just eat up your life. You could get so consumed into it. And I haven't realized that you're just constantly working as an entrepreneur that you forget to have a life of your own.
Yes.
Big time.
Good goal.
It's not a complaint, but it is a reality. I think obviously our jobs gives us a lot of rewards.
Yeah.
But we tend to, especially as men, I think, we focus so much on what we do that it kind of defines us. And I don't think that's right. I think we have to be defined in different ways, as a person.
Yeah.
Not as how good of a job we do. I don't know. Hard to explain.
No, I think you're right. I think men, we like to be like a provider. So we just feel like we have to keep working. But
yes, which is, the wrong idea, but it is true. We're kind of wired.
The DNA. All right, Ricardo, we like to play a fun little game called This or That. So basically, we're just going to give you a quick little question and you choose one or the other for the answer.
Okay, let's see if I can play it right. Because then I have a Mexican brain, remember that.
All right.
Roses or peonies?
Peonies.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
All right.
Round bouquets or cascading bouquets?
Cascading.
Texting or calling?
Calling.
Bold, colorful arrangements or soft, natural palettes?
Bold, colorful.
Bold and colorful. Comedy or horror?
Comedy.
Indoor or outdoor ceremony?
Ideally indoor. But outdoor because of the wind factor.
Yeah. Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes. But not the regular ones. They have to be nutty and chunky and full of texture.
There you go.
Floral art or hanging installations?
It just depends, but I'll go for the easy ones. Floral arch.
Arch. Sweet or salty?
Salty.
Salty.
Classic white florals or mixed vibrant blooms?
Classic white.
Christmas or Halloween?
Christmas.
Real candles or LED candles?
It depends too. I go for ideally real, but sometimes the wind factor again.
That's true. Music festival or art festival?
Music festival.
Greenery heavy designs or floral heavy designs?
Floral heavy.
All right. Live in a futuristic city or an ancient kingdom?
Ancient kingdom.
Oh yeah.
Traditional boutonnieres or pocket boutonnieres?
Traditional. Those pocket ones. Yeah.
Cooking with the family or ordering takeout?
Cooking with the family.
Early morning market runs or late night breakdowns?
Early morning.
And the last one, hiring a professional florist or pick up some fake flowers?
Definitely hire a professional florist. It's a nightmare. If you trade in your flowers, that's a nightmare. And I commend all those brides that want to do that. But don't do that. You want to enjoy your wedding.
Yeah, my goodness. Enjoy your wedding, people.
Yes.
All right, Ricardo, we got one last final question we'd love to ask every guest. Here it is.
All right.
If you could choose any superpower to have while working a wedding, what would it be and how would it help you?
Well, I don't know how to say it in English. When you are one place, but then you can transfer your place to another.
Yeah, so
teleportation.
You disappear one place because you were needed somewhere else, and then immediately you're like transferred to another place.
Yeah, like teleportation.
Yes, yes.
That's a good one.
Then it can immediately go back to this other spot.
Yeah,
that
so
would
that
be
means
ideal. Yeah.
You would be able to book 20 weddings. And
no. When you're at a venue, I probably walked like over 30,000 steps.
Yeah, easily.
So if I could walk less because I'm then teleported to another spot.
Yeah.
What a dream. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
That'd be super good. I'm all talking about booking 20 weddings, and you're like, wait, I'm just walking too much at one venue. I would just like to move to one spot.
I don't want to. No, I have plenty of weddings. I don't want to, what I have is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
All right, more weddings means more work.
Where can our listeners find you?
They can find me online. Is that the answer? What is it?
Yeah.
So, elegant-details.com.
There you go.
We have a studio, though. You can come visit me here in Grover Beach.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. They can find me. Well, that's basically it, I guess, online.
All right, Ricardo, thank you so much for taking the time to be. Yeah, that's it for being on the show. We had a blast, man.
So much fun.